Hi, this is Deb with Pinecone Press Design, and welcome to Summer Splash. First, let's go over a few of our specials. So we have 15% off of everything, $9.95 shipping on all orders under $100, and free shipping on orders over $100, just making it really simple here for the summertime. So let's first talk about what's Summer Splash. We have our Make and Take project for those of you that have signed up. In about 15 minutes, we'll be going over the step outs on our little sun-kissed beach bag album. But first, let's look at some other making a splash projects. New from Graphics 45 is their Born a Mermaid or Make a Splash collection. Beautiful in the lavenders and the blues and that. Now we added a lot of stickles, but you can really, hopefully, I'm not sure how well you can see that on camera, but you do see the sparkle and that the stickles adds to the project. And this project is so perfect for those of you that love stickles, is you can just stickles everything. So let's look at that. Again, this is our 8x8 curved back spine album. So it's got the beautiful rib detailing on this. What we did with our albums, because they are so thick, the chipboard is that you can paint, stain, ink, whatever you want to do to do the outside edges and to the spine. Now we started off with just a lavender, folk art paint that you can buy at any of your craft stores. And then we, after we painted it, was a little bright, so went on and used a dauber and kind of put over a vintage brown and a black onto it, so just to tone down the colors. Now you truly could, if you wanted to pick up the blues and the teals and that, make it more sea looking, be beautiful on the covers. So as you see, lots of fun little stickles on all the elements, lots of flaps and journaling cards. The ribbons on this are just absolutely gorgeous. They just kind of pick up the blues and the purples. Has just a hint of sparkle on the ribbons. It's pretty, but they, as you can see, lots of flaps, lots of places for the summer, the beautiful pictures that you have at your beach, at the pool, your young kids or girls especially. This is just a really, really pretty album. Again, like I said, and the ribbons on this just coordinate and just highlight the colors, just absolutely perfect. Now, G45, every few years, they do a mermaid collection. So this is the soft colors and the lavenders and the blues. If you like more of the bright and the vibrance, you might remember we have several of these kits still. The collection where we used more of the aquas and the peaches and the yellows and that. So again, I'm really a mermaid album. And just to kind of show you the cutting guide and all the pages that are fun with that. Completely different colorways on that particular album. And this album is a 6x8, whereas the lavender and purple one is an 8x8. So other summer things that we have is we have a whole collection of our 4x6 chunky albums. Now these are so fun because for a really inexpensive price, you have hours and hours of fun creating a little fun album. So this is 4x6, but the way that we have created this is there are so many places for photos that you could fill up your whole summer just with this one little album. Great for if you're doing camp groups, or if you're summer projects and you want something for the kids to do. It's small enough that they can handle it. There's enough involvement. You can make it as simple or as complicated. And for those of you just sitting at home that love nighttime projects where you put the TV on, something that you don't have to look at and you just want to create, Pinecone kits are really perfect for that. They give you hours and hours of enjoyment. All the basics are there, and there's so much room for you to add your own accents and embellishments. So let's look at this here, our Fun in the Sun. See, lots of flaps with this, and each of the pages, we have just put the adhesive around the outside edges to make then tags that will pull out. And on this one, we have a couple of tags per page in that, so you really have a lot of spaces for your summer photos. And flap upon flap. What's really fun about doing the albums and creating, and you can create so much interest just with adding an extra score line to create a flap. So the pages themselves come like this with the built-in flap. But then if you want to add an additional flap, very easy, just to score your paper and adhere it to the back side of the pattern paper, and then you almost have like this accordion fold element to there. So you've got that going on, you have your pull-out tags, and with this particular fun album, every place has a flap. So almost like every page is a flap. Now again, on this second section, you have more of your pull-out tags. And then the third section we have is a little pocket, pull-out tags. Here, instead of an accordion fold on our extra flap, this one opens and then opens again to the right, so that you have life is better than flip-flops, boy, isn't that true, almost year-round. That fun little album. So as you see, for $12, $13, you really create a really fun project to put all your summer photos in. Now our 4x6 albums have become so popular that we have them in probably a dozen different styles in that. And they also come blank if you just want to create your own. But for upcoming 4th of July, we have our Stars and Stripes little 4x6 chunky. Another really popular kit is it's created with the Echo Park paper, and it actually is a kit that you make 4 of these little chunky albums. Because of the way this paper pack came, it had like 4 completely different sets. And so instead of breaking it up, we just created a kit that you get to make 4 of these chunky albums, all with one kit. That is great. Then we have camp ones, and we have another summer one, and a girls and boys nest. So there's, like I said, so many fun things in the 4x6 chunkies. Now we're going to look at this one. This is just because life is a bowl of cherries, but cherries to me is just such a summer thing. I loved going to you pick your own cherry orchards where I grew up, and all summer long you could just pick your cherries. So bright colors in this. I love the reds and the green. That's so fresh. And on this one, we painted the chipboard album, the edges, with the bright green. And again, just a simple little album with little flaps. So you have a lot of flaps to your album and the pages. Now, if you wanted to turn this more into, say, like a recipe type album, then we have shown in our instructions how you can create all of these pockets. Now, these pockets can be either for just more photos, or they can be for recipe cards, for your summer recipes or your fruit recipes or favorite cherry recipes. So very easy to create. And again, with all of our kits, you have all of your step-by-step instructions. So we're telling you how to create the pockets. So if you want to add into your summer album, so you start with your 4x12 piece of paper. Now on this, it doesn't work for every pattern paper because you're going to be seeing both sides, and one side is flipped up. So if you have obviously a one-way pattern, it might not work so well. Like this one, if we turned it this way and created the pockets that way, you see your cherries are all upside down, which you might not like to have upside down cherries. But this one, so you have your 4x12 paper, you're going to score it at 5 7/8 and 6 1/8. And that creates this little 1/4 inch channel right there for you. Then you're going to come up 1/4 inch and add another score line, and that creates the pocket. So you want to crease all those really well. And it is going to just kind of ripple a little bit because paper is really not used to being scored horizontal and vertical. So you score that, fold it up, put a little adhesive on the ends so that you can create there. Then when you're going to fold it, you actually have created a double side pocket. Now you can go ahead and adhere, put some adhesive down this inside edge too, so that you just have a double-sided pocket. Or on all these in this album, we chose to make them where they open so that you could have more places for photos. So then when you have your pocket created, you want to put a little bit of your double-sided adhesive tape on that little 1/4 inch area there. Now this will just get pulled off the tape, and it will actually stick right down into the spine of the album. And we have created several pockets, so you could kind of go, if you wanted to, double pockets there, so you'd really get a lot of pockets in this album. Or for each page, you could put one pocket, one set of pockets, and they're really fun to create and embellish with all your little leftover pieces. And there's so many little strips and accent pieces that you can decorate your recipe cards just by cutting a little 1/4 inch strip and putting onto the edge of your recipe cards. Or if you want them just to be photos, then just turn your paper like that, and you've got a great photo mat, or you've got a place for your recipe, your photo of your recipe and your recipes. And again, like I said, and then just go ahead and put those in wherever you want in that album. And that really creates a lot more places for photos or recipes, whatever. So very simple to create those little fold over pockets. Let's see. Right. And another fun one for summertime. I just opened up this. This truly is a yearly album, but it's all florals, and so it just seems so perfect for the summertime and June. So this particular album, you can use it as a calendar album, or you could just have it for photos throughout the year. And with each page in that, with each month, you have a flap on the left and you have a flap on the right. So you are getting almost like 4 places to put photos for each month, and then a pull-out tag that pulls out from the back of that flap. So there's June. Here's July with the flap that opens your monthly little calendar. So, or this could be a perpetual calendar. Or if you wanted to, you could even just not even use that there and just put a photo right there, just kind of showing here is our July and just summing up your July. And then August. The colors on this whole collection is so soft and beautiful, but it's vibrant at the same time. It's just it's very pretty. So again, this is just a great album for all year, especially I love this flowers for the summertime. Well, now that it is June, let's look at Love. This is a brand new collection also from G45. It's not so much wedding, but it could be wedding, but it is just a really pretty love album. It's just black, whites, and greens and florals, and just let's see, lots of places. Again, this is our 8x8 rib back spine album. We have not put the binder mechanism in, just so I could show you this. But again, you see just a lot of places for just love. So if you're a special relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend. Now, I haven't tried this yet, but I want to take my chalks, and if I had like a baby girl, I would rub over all of this with the soft pink, and I could truly make this into just a beautiful little baby album, always and forever, except when they're sassy teenagers. P.S. I love you. But could you see this just hinted with the blue and pink, and what a beautiful little baby album this also would create? So that is our love album. And, oh, just another fun summary album, because again, just the fresh, bright colors is Enjoy the Little Things. Now, again, we have used the stickles to accent this, and you can probably see on this cover how we used our pop dots to pop up all these little different elements. And then we've even used 2 and 3 layers of pop dots. So you create this really fun scene of our little elf guy just bouncing out of his little mushroom cap there. Again, bright and colorful and summery looking with all the butterflies and the pretty flowers, and it just is You Are My Sunshine. So just another really pretty album to sum up our summertime. Okay, we did cherries. That. Also have, just to show you with and without stickles, our Flutter album. You can do it just very plain with no stickles. You can certainly add a lot of your stickles onto the cover, and it just really makes that pop up. And our Flutter is an 8x8 album also. Okay, let's see. I kind of talked about, oh, and on our website, we have so many other just fun summary type albums, kid type, that making a splash and little penguins playing in the water, and the travel. There's a couple of just 24 days of summer, that simple ones. We have a couple of those left, like drawing with chalk on your sidewalk and eating popsicles and going to the movies, and that's a really fun album to look at too on the website. So let's take a look at, for those of you that have gotten the kit, I want to walk through with you the instructions on our Sunkissed album. So now this starts off with our 6x10 chunky. So, and then for those of you that like just our blank chunky albums and want to create your own beach bag or suitcase or a travel album, let me just show you. We have in the 2-inch spine that is a a chunky album. Again, this is our 6x10 album. If we turn it this way, you can add the handles to it. Or on our Sunkissed album, we have added our rope handles. Or it comes as our Sunkissed as a 3-inch spine album. And again, as you see, we had the handles to this. So our blank albums come in the 2-inch spine or the 3-inch spine. Okay, so for those of you, let's grab your Make and Take kit, because we're now going to talk about the Sunkissed album and how to put that together. I'm going to open up my kit, and I have our stuff here. So we have your instructions, we have our closure, our shells, our handles, our pages. Now this album is just a little different because being that we turned it so that we're doing a horizontal on this, we actually look at our pages and they are from top to bottom instead of your normal album. When you look at an album, you're looking left to right. So just a couple of things that we want to do. I know that we all like to work so much on our album pages when they are outside of the album instead of putting them in and then embellishing our pages. So to do that, the first thing I want to do on this, and I'm going to grab my marker right here, is I want to work on these flat and I want to work on them on the outside of my album. So I'm going to go through first, and you can do this with a pen or a marker, it doesn't matter because they're going to get completely covered up. But I want to, you can see here, I am going to number my pages, and so this is going to be page 1, and this is the up section. And then when I flip my album, I turn my page down, this will be page 2. But this is going to be the up of it, because page 2 has to be on the back side of page 1. It seems, I guess my mind thinking it should go 2, 3, but this doesn't. So you have to be page 2, then page 3, and this is the up on page 3. And the reason we're putting our up and down arrows on this, well, up arrows, is because when I'm looking at it this way, this is going to be the top of that page. But if I just flip it over this way, this actually is the top of the page, and you could get your characters not upside down. So that's why I want to denote the up and the down side of that. Then I have page 4. This is going to be page 4, but this is going to be the top of it. And page 5, and that's the top. Can you get this? Page 6, page 7. Let's put our up arrows so that when you're working these separately, that you're not going to get confused. And you may not, it's just my brain that gets sometimes confused. It's very easy. Okay, so now I have my pages, and now I know that if I look here at my album, page 1 is going to be correct, and I flip it down, then I'm going to have page 2, but I know that's my top. Page 3, this is my top. See here, page 4, this is my top. Page 5 is my top. So, and it goes through that for your album. Okay, the basic there. So now, then you cut your papers and you want to just work on them flat. Great, no problem. And with all the Pinecone kits, they all come with full colored instructions. So I'm going to go through. My first one I'm going to cut is going to be my cover paper. So I want to have my stripe and my blue and my accent. So I'm looking at my cutting guide, and it's showing me my orange stripe paper. And my paper is, I have my front cover, I'm going to cut 4.5 by 10, and my back cover 4.5 by 10. So I'm going to cut 2 strips, and you can just come over here and go 10. Now it's showing us here that there's something there on the back side. Cut out flowers for the inside back cover. So instead of cutting your 10 this way and cutting from this side, I want you to cut your 10 inches across, starting from your right side, come over 10, come all the way down. There are those flowers that we're going to save for our inside back cover. I go to my inside back cover. There are my flowers. That's where they came from. Okay, so I'm cutting that 4.5 by 10, 4.5 by 10. I am saving this strip. Okay. My blue, I'm going to cut. Pull out my blue, and then I'm going to cut 2 1/8 by 10, 2 1/8 by 10. My spine is 2 3/4 by 10, and my page 6 is 6 by 10. So I'm going to put into my trimmer. I'm going to cut it 10. I can go 10 all the way down because every cut is 10 inches. And then that way then I can cut my 2 1/8, 2 1/8, 2 3/4, and then I'll have my 6. Now with all of our kits, I always like to cut one tick mark before the 6 or one tick mark before the 10. So I am just slightly less so that when it goes to sit inside and I put on my pages, I'm seeing just a hairline of my base page around. That I'm going to probably be inking, but this way you don't get those corners lifting, and sometimes our trimmers don't cut exactly straight. So this way you don't have pattern paper that's extending beyond, your corners won't lift, and it gives you a much cleaner looking album that will last and look nicer longer as people are flipping through the album. Okay, so then go ahead with your album, your front cover. We're going to go ahead and put on our stripe paper. And then we're going to put on our 2 1/8 inch piece onto there. And we're going to do that front and the back. So get that on. Then we have our spine, 2 3/4 by 10. That is going to be sitting right there onto our spine at 2 3/4 by 10. And as you see that we do, because this chipboard is so thick, it takes a lot to go around that curve. So then we're sitting inside. You can kind of see where it's like just slightly starting to curve. And that wasn't put on exactly straight, was it? But again, it sits just inside of those curved lines. Okay. And then the rest of this, I'm going to wait till my album is completely finished before I put on my embellishments, but we'll talk about this and then you can just set those aside because I'm going to be putting on when I get in my pages and I really don't want to mess up my front cover. So now that I have my front cover on and my back cover on, I need to punch my hole so that we can put in our barbed elastic and our closure. I'm just going to show you this with the album, just the blank album. So in your kit, you do have your closure and the backing of it. So you want to take a crocodile, and I just open up my crocodile so it's all the way. Then you can just stick this right down in and punch your hole. Obviously, you're going to do that centered. I was just showing you because I put the handles on, but yes, you're going to put that in there, punch your hole. Then you are going to take the screw portion, put on your metal, and then you almost need to have like a light hammer to tap it because that just gets actually just pushed right into that. You can see there's a little rubber gasket in there. So once it is on, it is really securely on there. So you want to, like I said, you're going to put that through, and then you want to take a hammer, tap it either from that side so that, or if you have really strong thumbs, you'll be able just to push that right through. And then the same for the back. So you want to take your back side, punch a hole, and on this one, you've got your the small hole. And I think on the other one we did a small hole also. Then go ahead and thread your barbed elastic through that hole. Put one through, pull a little tight so you can get the other one through, and that is going to act as your closure. Okay. When we're completely through with our album, we're going to use some pop dots, and we're going to put the shell on our album if you would like to put your shell on. Now you can, if you're along the beach, you want to pick up a shell so it makes it really personal for you. If not, there's a shell here in your kit. And that will do our accent, our spine. Then we're going to save the rest of this paper for page 6. So we're just going to set that aside. Then the others are, let's talk about our cover first then. So, okay, our next is, we're going to be cutting page 2. So if you're looking right here on your cutting guide, page 2, 6 by 10, we're cutting from here, and we're actually going to use the orange side. Now this is your kit. Once you have it at home, do whatever you want to with it. If you want to use this side instead of the other side, and that's true with any of the papers, go ahead, it's your kit. So we're just showing you that we're using the orange side for page 3. But we haven't gotten to our inside cover yet, but I just wanted to show you this here because this goes on the front cover. So you are going to, because it is G45, we're going to do a little fussy cutting. So you are going to cut out your sun kiss. We cut out, as you can see, around the sun kiss, and we added the little flowers to it. So you're just going to fussy cut around there, stuff it. And again, if you want to include more, if you want to include the flowers, go ahead and put those on there. So you could, if you wanted that on there. But that is where then your front cover comes from, is front cover. That fun little graphic of our front cover is right there. And then this is your page 3. Page 2, I'm sorry. So say, there. Yep, page 2. We've used that one up now. Pretty simple, I think, on our other cuttings is we have inside front cover, page 3. This is our page 1, page 8, other side. Okay, this is not tricky, but I just want to show you this here for your turtle page. So basically cut our inside front cover, page 1. All your little scraps you're going to save over to accent your photos with, and you've got a whole sheet of border stuff that's really fun to cut out the little border things. Okay, simple, nothing too, you're making a self flap where you're going to cut out your self flap. You're going to adhere it to the back side of the striped paper before you put that down. That gives you your self flap. Again, a little more photo accents. Okay, we're coming to our turtle page here, which I think is just really fun. Okay, we're showing our paper. So you have, here's your turtle paper. And if you can see this, it is page 7, 6 by 10, page 4, 6 by 10. So you're going to, on this paper, come here and you're going to come from this side over your 10 inches. We're going to save these turtles to accent our paper. So you got your 6 by 10, 6 by 10. And again, since it is Graphics 45, just a little fussy cutting. And I find this almost easier. You can use your craft knife or an X-Acto knife, but you want to come in and you're going to cut. This is my 6 by 10. I want to cut around this flipper so my photo can go underneath around his head and around here. So that is going to be for my one turtle. Then you can slips in under there. On this one here, here's my other turtle. So I'm going to cut, and you can see I just cut right along the edge there. So I'm going to cut along around his head and the flipper. That's my other turtle. This other turtle, you can feel here, it is this turtle that's right here because I want 10 inches wide. So I'm going to cut around him. So that. Now, if you wanted more of your photo to show, you could completely cut him out and slide him over because this is wider than it is there. So you could take and cut him completely out, so just there, and slide him back a little bit if you didn't want him like right in the middle of your photo. Okay, my other turtles then, I am saving to embellish this page here. This page it looks like it came from the same turtle, but it actually did not because we are using this paper. I'm looking at my turtles. Page 4, 6 by 10, the other side. So that's where we use this paper back here on page 4. And these turtles that we cut out is where we used to accent and embellish on this page those turtles. Okay, so that is our turtle page. This is probably the only more difficult page. Inside back cover. Remember, those are the flowers that came from your page, your front page. There. Going to add our pages to our album. So now all of our pages are done. We're going to put them into our album. This looks like Wheel of Fortune. Fill in this here. Obviously, something got dropped off in the printing, but adding the pages. So you have your pages. You're going to put a little bit of red line tape on the back side, fold those up, and they get into the album, like it's shown here. So put those in. Go ahead when these are completely done. This is now where you're going to take your crocodile and you are going to punch the large hole, thread your ribbon through, tie a knot on the front and the back, put your pages, embellish your front, and you're through with your little, we want to tie on our tags. as a little twine, and you are through now with your sun-kissed album, just ready for you to have lots of adventures in the sun and fun. Again, Pinecone Press Design, thank you for joining us, and we'll